Café Anyway. Here we are.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
At Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, and Mike Matthews. It is FF episode 2796.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
2796, and Mike Matthews bringing you a daily podcast. It's not easy to do because you have to remember to do it, and if you don't do it, then you go, ooh. I have created a podcast name that is also a lie. I have got to podcast. I have got to try. I believe I can fly. I believe that's a song from a movie with a lot of cartoon characters.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Called Space Jam. That apparently means a lot to a lot of you.
Mike's
Not so much me,
Daily
but hey.
Podcast.
Two-dimensional animation is what that was. Made to look 3D with the shading, and then they did a new one. I think that was more 3D animation. But here we are, Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, in the land of Ameritopicas. And well, here's an interesting topica. Apparently, we are not recycling our old gadgets. We're not recycling it. What? We're just throwing it out? Probably. As upgrades continue to offer less, we're keeping our phones longer than we used to. Yes, we used to replace them. Remember when we'd line up? Oh, they got a new phone. And there'd be these long lines for people trying to buy the new phone, particularly the iPhone. But we're still throwing an awful lot of them away. Yes, the UN Global E-Waste Monitor reports that we're even doing it at a rate that's almost 5 times faster than the equivalent materials being recycled. So that is from the wonderful people at CNET, which has been around a long, long time. And from what I hear from the guy that I do the podcast for, Rob Black, with the Rob Black Show, he says that he was on CNET way back when and basically had one of the first podcasts.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Because he would record this audio that would be then uploaded to their website, and then you could download it to your iPhone or iPod. The iPod came out before the iPhone, didn't it? I'm thinking. Thusly. Or something to that effect. And then you could listen to it or just listen right off the website. And therefore, you would basically have for yourself a podcast there. The podcast picture, every one of Mike's Daily Podcasts has one of these. And this one is from a year ago. We go back in time to 2 wonderful horses. Last podcast was a cat, Rocky, and these 2 cats, actually, this guy right here met years ago. In fact, one of them, by the name of Dice, that's the one with the nice brown type spots on him. He actually tried to step on Basil and got really close, and that was pretty frightening. But the owner of Dice helped me out, and Basil was much older, and he couldn't move away from an oncoming horse as quickly. So, but now Basil's gone, but Emma and Dice are still around, and Dice has chilled out a little bit. And Emma's the white horse you see there. See that picture? Very beautiful, these horses. I'm sure a lot of Podcastro Valley people photograph them often. See it at mikesdailypodcast.com. I just paid the $300 to keep mikesdailypodcast.com going for another couple of years, so please check it out so it's not in vain. And weather vane is what you'll see if you go visit those horses. A really cool horse weather vane sits on top
now that's legit.
top of their shed. Thank you. It is legit. So we're even doing it at a rate almost 5 times faster than the equivalent materials are being recycled. The volume of e-waste generated rose about 75 billion pounds. From that to about 137 billion pounds. Between 2010 and 2022. To drive the point home, the report estimates that all this e-waste could fit on 1.55 million trucks, forming a line that would wrap all the way around the Earth's equator. That would be you talk about lines that stink. I know somebody vacationing now in Ecuador, and I wonder if they're going to see anything with, or if they saw anything with the eclipse. Well, meanwhile, the amount of e-waste that has been documented to be recycled has risen. The UN International Telecoms Union has set a goal to get about 50% of the world's...
Do you have any safe spaces?
Safe spaces?
Yes, where people can go to get away from the colonialist mentality. As long as there's a diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, we'll be fine.
They're trying to set a safe space goal to get about 50% of the world's nations to adopt an e-waste policy. That would be 97 countries to adopt an e-waste policy they were supposed to do it by last year, but the report shows that this effort is slowing down, and just 81 countries, or 42%, have done anything to address e-waste. There are factors that can interfere with the accurate data.
It's Bison Bentley's. Do you know that?
Hey, this is Bison Bentley, and Mike Matthews has a couple of stories that'll make you want to ask yourself, do you know that? Do you know that?
Well, do you know that you can recycle your electronics in a myriad of ways that I guess a lot of people don't know. They're too lazy to find out, but you happen to be catching this in your ear, so I'm going to tell you right now, there's no need to throw away your old phones or batteries, computers, and other gadgets when there are many free and easy ways to recycle your electronics, including you can mail them. You can take them to a recycling center. You can take them to a big box retail store like Best Buy or even Home Depot. Or sometimes just go to the product manufacturer. If you live near an Apple store, you can hand in your old iPhone or other Apple products to be recycled. Anyway, here at Café Anyway. And some of those products may qualify for trade-in credit, including, the Apple Reuse and Recycling Program says turning in your devices can, quote, help us closer to making every product with only recyclable and renewable materials. So get the word out. Tell people about that. And there is people laughing at me.
No.
Because they think this is futile. But that's okay. You can laugh all you want. Dell.
Oh my God, man. Jeez.
Dell, are you done? For larger IT recycling needs, Dell's asset recovery services will take and safely handle equipment, even if it's actually not made by Dell. And I think just about every computer I use, I got a bunch of Dells and a Toshiba that I use. But if your business or friend group, yes, an actual Toshiba.
Good morning, Mr. Matthews.
Thank you. Good morning to you. If your business or friend group has at least 10 phones to recycle, there is Smartphone Recycling is the name of this service. They accept devices in bulk sent with the assistance of a free print-at-home FedEx shipping label. In addition to phones, the company accepts Apple products and other tablets. You can also repair your old devices with iFixit. That's the letter I, and then fix it.
Mike Matthews? You not know Mike Matthews.
Uh-huh.
Really?
Eminem. Eminem.
We got Eminem.
We got Eminem.
That is me. Yes.
The real Eminem.
There you go.
This is awkward. Very awkward. You done? Okay. So the iFixit offers DIY guides, and tech companies now making it easier to remove and replace damaged parts. You can also take it back to the manufacturer or third party for repair. That all from CNET. So I'm sure they've got all the ideas you could ever want if you need more ideas. Oh, so you're saying to yourself, Mike, I work too much. I work my fingers to the bone. You probably say that for sure if you're in Mississippi, because Mississippi was found to have the worst work-life balance. They just scored 19 in the optimal work-life balance study. Work-life balance is becoming increasingly important in today's world, and a new study has revealed which states have the best and worst balances. With Washington was at the second on the list. The study by AI productivity platform PlusDocs analyzed the Bureau of Labor Statistics data and looked at the average weekly hours worked, as well as average weekly earnings, in order to give each state an index score of 100 for how good or bad.
Note to self.
If you note to self, for the work-life balance that they have. So in second place is Washington with a work-life balance score of 58.32. Remember, Mississippi has 0.19, so 0.19 out of 100, seeing the second highest average weekly wage of any state at $1,313. Washington also ranks second only to Massachusetts. Yes, Massachusetts is number one with a score of 60.29 out of 100. And they the highest average weekly income of $1,329 per week as a result of
Wow, that's wild.
That's wild because they make a highest average hourly wage at $39.32 per hour. They had the lowest average weekly hours worked, only working an average of 33.8 hours per week. And let's see, do we have Mississippi? Okay. The average person worked 34.6 hours per week, earned only $829 per week, which works out to about $23.98 per hour. Where does California fit in all this? Third. They got a work-life balance score of 55.71. Californians were found to work 34.8 hours per week on average, bringing home an average weekly pay of $1,291. And that's $37.44 per hour. Only slightly behind Washington's average hour. And that is from the people there at juniorresearch.org. Very interesting.
The Pam Baumgartner Files.
I think if you asked Pam Baumgartner, she would probably agree, whom I worked with at the bus eons ago. You can listen to some of the tapes I did, cassette cubbyhole stuff that I did, because it was all recorded onto cassettes, my old air checks, my old radio shows, and I include some of that. If you go to the website, mikesdailypodcast.com, and go to the cassette cubbyhole section, which you can find if you click on that hamburger symbol. That's what we call the three lines, the three horizontal lines. Yes, it's called a hamburger, because apparently tech people are hungry and they want themselves some hamburgers, it appears. Look who's here outside a Café Anyway. Hello, my gosh, it's Madame Rootabega, and all this is very interesting stuff, and I learned so much. Ooh, that's good. Do you like, would you like me to pour you here? I'm pouring you some root beer. Do you like root beer? Yes. Do you like hamburgers? Yes. Do you like iPhones? No. A lot of people don't. They say that the iPhone is a little too proprietorial, and it's like they call it the garden. You're stuck in the garden because you've got this beautiful garden with all these hedges surrounding you, and Apple says, oh, look at this beautiful garden, but they don't let you ever leave. It's like the Hotel California, the Eagles song. So that is, hey, real quick, there was a guy named Dr. Fisher. He is a chiropractor, Dr. Jeff Fisher, and he sent me this email with some ideas about how to make yourself less likely to hurt your back at work. He says, pimp your workspace. Think of your chair as your throne. And Elmo's sitting on the desk, and your desk as a command center. So he says, chair, you gotta set your chair up just right, supporting your back's natural vibe. Have desks at elbow height. That's interesting. Have the desk at elbow height. I know the desk in my office at home Which, by the way, I cannot ever take a nap at my home because there's always either cats meowing in my face, which is lovely, because cats are lovely, and you saw a picture of Rocky the cat on the last podcast picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. And Patches, I've posted pictures of Patches the cat. But then there are, just out of the blue on Sunday, I'm trying to take a nap, get caught up on sleep. And these two guys just decide to talk at the top of their lungs.
That's enough. Put down the mic.
That's what I wanted to say to them. Just outside of my house. And one of them's got a car revving. I'm like, dang it, California and our cars and our loud people. Sheesh. Shush. So, at home, I do not have my desk at elbow height. In fact, it's probably way smaller. Way smaller. I guess I have to put a couple books on the desk to reach up to my elbow. I'm not that tall, but I'm tall enough.
Anarchy! I don't even know what that means, but I love it.
Oh, and it also suggests this so you don't have anarchy in your neck. Also put the monitor at eye level to keep your neck from doing the awkward turtle. Yes, the turtle. You don't want to do the turtle. We would make a joke about Mitch McConnell here, but that's not nice because he's getting up there and he has to retire from being the minority speaker. And yeah, we won't do that because he has these moments where he freezes. It's not nice, Mike. Don't do it. Don't even bring up Mitch McConnell. Okay. But Turtle, a lot of people think of him just the way that works. Okay. And movement is your power up. Static is tragic, he says, Dr. Fisher. It's all about movement life, stretching breaks, core strengthening quests, and flexibility missions to keep you agile. It's like leveling up in your favorite game, keeping your body boss level.
Burger Master.
If your boss is a burger master, it all comes back to burgers. Healthy. Hydrate or dihydrate. Hydrate or dihydrate, he says. Picture your spinal discs as those squishy stress balls. They need hydration to stay plump and resilient. He's preaching the gospel of staying hydrated and eating like a health influencer with berries, nuts, and greens to keep inflammation on mute. And be careful. Don't ever just have one health influencer that you follow. I would say don't even follow an influencer because it's all in the name. I don't want to be influenced, do you? I don't want to be used by someone for their gain. So just take this with a grain of salt. But that does make sense, doesn't it? Everyone's always telling you to hydrate. Although a guy I work with who recently had a bunch of bad things happen, like he fell down, hurt his nose, his eye. He's healed up since then. He's actually lost some weight. He's gotten a lot better.
I can't believe. What the hell is this place anyway?
It's outside of Café Anyway, sir. And that's him. He just walked by. He was very angry. But he's doing better. He used to have a really large belly, and he worked it down with walking. But now it's starting to come back, and he is blaming water. He says, I'm hydrating too much. Everybody's telling me, drink water, drink water, drink water. I'm thinking maybe it's doing the opposite for me. So that is something he has to ask his doctor about. And one other interesting thing Dr. Fisher says is imagine your spine as the latest viral trend you need to keep straight. Roll your shoulders back, tuck that chin, keep your back as aligned as your values, he says, plus elevating your devices to eye level so you're not bending like you're looking for your dropped AirPods. AirPods look ridiculous. They do. To me, they look like little straws, little white straws sticking out of people's ears. So they just, I guess at some point I'll be able to accept them. But, he says it's about giving your neck a gentle stretch using safe at-home devices that are like having a chiropractor in your living room. Oh, and then he has a bunch of things that he promotes to promote himself, but that is all from the PR group and Dr. Jeff Fisher. You can look him up, and that's Fisher. No C in that name, but some helpful stuff there. Look who else is here.
Hello there, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we like squishy stress balls D.
Yeah, squishy stress pads. Do you know that? Excellent, yes. They're good to have. They're good to have. You know what I also suggest? I would throw in here too, you should dance. Everybody needs to dance at work and get out some of that stiffness that we have. I know basically everything he was saying was avoiding being neck stiff, and that is, and your body just turning and atrophying and just being just locked in a bad way. And dancing helps open you up. That's what yoga does, is open you up and try and break some of that rigidness that we have that can end up hurting us. That's what I'm saying. If I have summed that up in the proper way. What do you think? Did I do a good job? You can let me know. Here's the phone number to let me know.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And all the podcast pictures, past podcasts, that hamburger I was talking about, past interviews, all kinds of other cool stuff can be found at my website, mikesdailypodcast.com. And more about all of that, here's everybody.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!